Hey everyone, and welcome to day 17 of our study through the New Testament. Today we're looking at the escape to Egypt, and this follows Matthew 2, verses 13 through 18. So just a few short scriptures here. And what happened here is, the wise men came, visited, and left, and they warned Mary and Joseph about Herod, but also a angel came to Joseph in the middle of the night in a dream and instructed him to go to Egypt. And this fulfilled, we see this in verse 13 through 15, this fulfilled the prophecy of Hosea 11 talking about the Savior, the people come or we're bringing this people out of Egypt, and so again, we're going to continue to see a lot of parallels between Moses and Jesus here, as Moses was the Savior for the Jewish people back in the Pharaoh's time, and now Jesus is the Savior for the people in our time. And so we continue to see this parallel here. We go into verse 16 where it talks about him sending soldiers and murdering or slaughtering all the babies who were 2 years old, years and older. And this is where we get the age that Jesus may have been when the wise men, because we know, from this time frame that it had been a little while. And so they continue, they go, they do this, and there's a lot of skeptics around it because there's not a lot of historical evidence outside the Bible that backs this claim up. But the thing that does is the fact that Herod was evil. Who He was known for atrocities. He was known for, in fact, it was when he died, he ordered that Jewish people especially Jewish nobles, be murdered, so that way people would mourn while he was dead. I mean, so you see the type of evil behavior that we have here, and and so we see this parallel whereas the ancient Jews thought of Moses as the deliverer. We're highlighting the parallels between Moses and Jesus. Matthew shows that Jesus was the promised deliverer who would save their people from their sins, and so we see that. And so Herod killed all the boys 2 years and 2 years old and under in Bethlehem. And I think a lot of times, especially as we're kids, we think about this, that you know it seems like, oh, he went and slaughtered thousands of babies. And don't get me wrong here, this is horrible. You killed if they've slaughtered one, but they went to the little town of Bethlehem. So more than likely, and this may be one of the indications of why it wasn't recorded in outside the Bible, it would have been somewhere from 10 to 30 boys. Again, still horrible, but I think sometimes we get in our mind that he went and slaughtered just thousands and thousands of babies to try to get Jesus. And more than likely, it would have been at the most probably around 30 boys of that age in that small village during that time frame. And so that's another good possibility as to why it's not published outside of this. And so then we have verse 18 that says it gives a quote from Jeremiah of the crying out of Ramon. And this is from Jeremiah 31:15. And this was a town near Bethlehem. It was the burial place of Rachel. And so we see again these parallels, these prophecies that are happening, coming out of the Old Testament. Again, it just kind of indicates and shows that the Bible is inspired by God. What happened in the Old Testament was prophesied to happen, and Jesus continues to fulfill all these prophecies, even as a baby when he has no control over it. So we continue to see him fulfilling these prophecies. So next week we're going to look, or tomorrow we're going to look at Jesus returning from Egypt and go through those. Again, I hope you're still enjoying these. Hope you like them. We just thank you for watching them.